Page number 56, question number 6. Now, understand what is asked to you here. See, first 5 questions what we have done, majority of them were short-term employees benefits. Short-term means those which become due in the next 12 months after the end of the year. So normally the discounting, you understand discounting is studied in capital budgeting, is not to be done. Discounting means converting future value into present value. Because that is to be done when the period is more than 1 year. But if in the current year itself the amount is payable, then that is current year's value only. But if the amount is payable after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, then we need to find what is its today's value. So in short-term employees benefits, we don't have to do the discounting. But in long-term employees benefits, we have to do the discounting. Discounting means we have to convert future value into present value. A lump sum benefit, question 6, page 56, a lump sum benefit equal to 1% of final salary for each year of service is payable on termination of service. Okay, just for example, let us say this is gratuity. Just for example, which benefit is not specified, but long-term employees benefits will include gratuity, provident fund, pension, etc. Suppose this is gratuity, just for example. The terms and conditions of the employer is that if you leave the company after 10 years, then whatever is your salary after 10 years, 1% of that you get for all the 10 years. Every year 1% of that. So suppose presently in the company you are earning 50,000 per month and 6 lakhs per annum. After 10 years when you leave the job, at that time let us say you have reached the level of 80,000 per month with the increment. Presently it's 50,000, after 10 years you reach maybe even far more than that it would be. But just for example, suppose you reach the level of 80,000, means when you leave the company at that time you are earning 80,000 per month, into 12, 9 lakh 60,000. So 9 lakh 60,000 is 1%, 9,600. You get for each of the 10 years, means 9,600 into 10. Gradually you get 96,000. Did everyone of you understand this? Read that language again. A lump sum benefit. So gratuity is a lump sum benefit. When you leave the organization, the whole amount accumulated is given to you in one stroke. That is lump sum benefit. A lump sum benefit equal to 1% of final salary for each year of service is payable on termination of services. Did you understand this language, everyone? Any doubt in this? Further. Now the salary in year 1 is rupees 10,000. One of the employees, today's salary, year 1, today's salary is rupees 10,000. And it is assumed to increase at 7% compound each year. Compound means what? Next year you will get 10,000, 7% increment, 700, 10,700. Next year you will get 10,700, 7% increment. So there is interest on interest, or percentage on percentage is called compound. And the other one is simple. Simple means 10,000, 7%. Every year you will get 700 only. But compound means first year 10,000, 7% increment. That is 700. Next year's salary become 10,700. So next year you will get the increment of 10,700 into 7%. Did everyone understand this? So the salary in year 1 is rupees 10,000 and it is assumed to increase 7% compound each year. The discount rate used is 10% per annum. Means if you want to convert future value into present value, then what is the discount rate we are going to use? 10% per annum. Show how the obligation, under the main question, show how the obligation builds up for an employee who is expected to leave at the end of year 5. Now put your pens down. I want you people to completely understand the solution, because this is totally erratic solution. You will just not understand what is going on until the final thing is over. And at the end you copy it down. What you have asked in the question is how the obligation builds up for the company, means how much amount company has to provide in the first year as a liability, second year, third year, fourth year and fifth year. For all the 5 years, how the obligation means liability builds up for the company. That is the main question what is asked. See, first of all, we have to give 1% of the final salary when he leaves the service. and the employee is assumed or expected to leave after 5 years. So very first of all in this question, we need to find the salary of the employee after 5 years, which is going to increase 7% every year. Then only we'll be able to find out 1% which we have to give him the lump sum benefit every year. Okay. So very first thing what we are supposed to do in this question is find the salary after 5 years. Okay. As I said, no one will be writing it, just understand the things first. So salary after 5 years. If you remember in net present value, how we used to obtain the present value from future value was whatever future value was given, directly multiplied by the interest factor which we used to obtain from the table. This is how we used to do. Means how we used to find the things were present value was equal to future value into interest factor at the rate of, here the salary is going to increase by 7% every year, and how many years? 4 years. Yes, 5 years, but we will calculate only 4 years because he will not get 5 increments. Practically 50th year he will leave. So you will get how many increments? Suppose today you are getting 10,000. After 1 year you will get 7% increment. So first year, after second year you will get 7% increment. Second year, after third year, 7%. Third year, 3 years. Then after fourth year. After 5th year you are leaving. So in 5th year what you will get the increment is of after 4 years. Then 6th year you will get the increment after 5 years, but then you are leaving the job. So the salary after 5 years could be future value, which is interest factor at the rate of 7% and 4 years. Any confusion in this? Now present value salary we already know is 10,000. Future value we have to find, and this, like capital budgeting, we'll see in the table. Then for 7% and 4 years you would get the factor as 0.763. As I said, that table I don't have right now. We'll provide you in the next lecture and we'll verify from that table. Okay, but otherwise, I gave you a shortcut method of counting it earlier. If the rate is 7%, then divided by 1.07. 1 plus 7% is 1.07. This is after 1 year. If divided by 1.07 4 times, then you get 4 years back. I do it 1. Divide by 1.07. This is after 1 year. What do you get? 0.93. Means what is 1 rupee after 1 year? Its today's value is 0.93. Okay, divide by 1.07. What is 0.87 after 2 years? Its today's value is 1. Divide by 1.07. What is after 3 years? It's today 1 rupees. And divide by 1.07. Do you get this 0.763? So what is 0.763 after 4 years? Means in the 5th year. That would be 1 rupee today. So how will we get the future value from this? Future value would be equal to, if you bring this 0.763 on the left side, then 10,000 divided by 0.763. 1310. Did everyone of you understand this? What will be your salary after 5 years when you leave the job? 13,106 if you get 7% increment every year. This shortcut we have done using the interest factor table. You don't have to calculate this 0.763 in this manner. You will be given with the tables in the exams. Is everyone clear with this? Yes, that's what I'm showing. The other way of doing it is, your first year salary is 10,000. After 1 year you will get increment of 7%. Compounded, so 700. What will be your salary in the second year? 10,700. Again, plus 7% increment you will get for the third year. What is 10,700 into 7%? 749. So 11,449 will be your salary in the third year. Now again, after 3 years you will get increment of 7%. What is 11,449 into 7%? Round it off and tell me. 801. So 12,250 would be your salary in the fourth year. Plus you will get 7% increment. What is 12,250 into 7%? 858. So 13,008. Here we got 13,108. Here we got 13,106. That is because of rounding off. This would be your salary in which year? 5th year. Then after 5 years are over, your salary would get increment, but then 6th year you are not with the company. So after 5 years, if you leave the job at the end of 5th year, then lastly you were earning 13,108. And that is the reason instead of 5 you have taken 4. Is everyone of you clear with this? So this is a shortcut method of doing it. You'll be given with the tables, you can do it this way, or you can count it this way with details. Okay, but what will be your salary after 5 years? 13,106. Now, company is going to give benefit of 1%. What is given in the first statement? A lump sum benefit of 1% of final salary for each year of service is payable on termination of service. So 13,106 or 180 to 1%, if you round off it, come to 131. So what will be the lump sum benefit for each year of service? 13,100, and suppose we use this first method, 6 into 1%, that is 130. Write it later. Is everyone clear with this portion? So what would be the benefit the employee will get if he is expected to leave after 5 years? For every year he will get benefit of 131 rupees. Now we are asking the question how the obligation will build up for all the 5 years. So we'll make a table showing that. Table showing obligation of company for all the years. So particulars and year 1, 2, 3, 4 and so how the obligation will build up for the company for each of the years is first prior and current period obligation. Prior and current period obligation. So prior period obligation plus current period obligation and total obligation at the end of the closing obligation. Obligation means liability. Now in the first year of service there is no prior period obligation. This is the first year of service, so you don't have to pay any benefit for the past years. Okay. Current period you have to give the benefit of 131. So total obligation at the end of the year is 131. Did everyone understand this? Second year. For second year's point of view, can I say prior period obligation is 131? Plus again for the current period you have to pay. So total obligation at the end of second year becomes 262. In the third year, what is the prior period obligation? 262. Plus again for third year you have to pay. So 393. In the fourth year, prior period obligation is 393. Plus again for the fourth year you have to pay 131. So 524. For the last year, prior period obligation is 524. Plus for that year you have to pay 131. So total you have to pay 655 after 5 years. Is everyone clear with this? But when the company makes the provision in P&L account, because it's a long-term benefit, we have to discount it at the rate of 10%. Is getting the question? Be careful, what was 7%? Increment in salary. And what is 10%? Discount rate. Meaning to say, when company makes the provision in P&L account, why will they provide 131 rupees in the first year? Practically think it. They need to pay 131 rupees. Do they need to pay 131 rupees today? This 131, when do they have to pay? When the employee leaves the job. So when does the company have to pay this 131? When does the company your obligation is 131 rupees for each year. In the first year, this 131 of obligation arises. But when do you have to pay that 131? In this question scenario, when do you have to pay? After 5 years. This 131 rupees you have to pay after 5 years. So do you need to keep aside from P&L account 131 rupees in the first year? Or less? Do you need to keep aside 131 or less? Means you'll keep it idle in your business. You'll keep aside 131 and keep cash in the box only. So do you need to keep aside 131 if you invest it? You require to pay this 131 after? And you are expecting a discount factor of 10%. Means you are expecting that you'll invest it at 10% somewhere. Or let us say bank deposits or XYZ please. So do you need to keep aside 131? Just for example, 80 or 90 rupees. You keep aside. Then after 1 year it will become 99. 10%. Then 99 is 10%, 9.9 will become 108. So that 90 after 5 years would become somewhere near to 131 or not? So from the first year's P&L account, do we need to keep aside 131 rupees? Now that is what we will find. In short-term employees obligation, this problem does not arise. Because you have to pay the money within 12 months. So 131 you have to pay within 12 months means you have to keep aside 131 only. But here you have to pay this 131 after. So this problem arises. We don't have to keep aside 131 rupees. We have to discount it at the rate of 10%. Did you understand the concept or not, everyone? So now we will find that based on this each year, how much amount we have to keep aside from P&L. So how do we find that is? This is prior and current periods obligation. Now final obligation of employer. So we final obligation of employer. In that prior period cost and whatever amount you keep aside for prior period cost, on that you will earn interest, which in this question we are going to earn at the rate of 10%. In this question the discount factor is 10%. So whatever amount you keep aside for the prior period, you get interest at the rate of 10%. Then current period cost and then total. Okay. To find all this discount factors, we'll be making a working prior period cost, current period cost and closing cost every year. Now year 1. First of all, in year 1 there is no prior period cost. In year 1 there is no prior period cost. What is current period's obligation? 131. Okay. But as we have to find the present value, what is the formula we have to use for finding the present value? What is the formula we have to use to find the present value? Future value into interest factor. And here we are going to invest it at 10%. So at the rate of 10% in number of years. So whatever amount you keep aside at the end of first year, for that, how much you are going to keep aside at the end of first year? 131. Current period obligation I am finding, okay? That 131 will give you interest factor at the rate of 10%, but after 1 year if you keep aside, then 4 more years, as I said, 5 years practically never come into existence. So this will require for 4 years. This you directly get from the table, but right now we don't have the table. So do it 1 divided by 1.1. This is after 1 year. Divide by 1.2. Sorry, 1.1. This is after 2 years. Again divide by 1.1. This is after 3 years. Again divide by 1.1. 131 into 0.68. What is 131 into 0.6830? 80? So, approximately 80. Basically, what does it mean? If you want, and I told you approximately 80 or 90 rupees you have to keep aside. If you keep aside 89 rupees in the current year, 89 will become 131 after 5 years. So you will be able to pay 131 to the employee after 5 years by keeping aside 89. Cross check 89 plus 10%. How much you get? This you get after 1 year by investing it at 10%. Plus 10%. This you get after 2 years. Plus 10%. This you get after 3 years. Plus 10%. Do you get after 4 years or not? At the end of first year, if you keep aside after 4 more years, means in the 5th year, you get this 131 rupees. Did everyone of you understand this or not? So concept is, we need to pay this 131 after 5 years. So from the current year's P&L account, we will not keep aside 131, we will keep aside 89. Understood this point? And same way closing cost is 131. So final obligation in first year is going to remain same. 131 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 4 years. So that would be 131 into 0.6830, that is 80. Any confusion with the first year's calculation? So prior period cost in the first year is nil. Interest at the rate of 10% will also be nil. Current period we have to keep aside not 131 rupees but only 89. And in the first year the total cost of obligation is only 89. Anyone having any doubt in this? This 89 first of all becomes prior period cost for the second year. So year 2, here also this 89 will become trial period cost. Means in the beginning of second year, say 131 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 4 years. So 131 into 0.6830. In the beginning of second year, the obligation is of 89 rupees. Are you all clear with this? Now 89 is 10%. Do it 89 into 10%. 8.9 roughly. 8.9 means roughly 9 rupees of interest you get in the second year on that 89. Now current period again. One more thing. Second year again, do we need to keep aside 131? Now this 131 we have to pay after how many years? From second year's point of view? 3 years. From first year's point of view, we have to pay it after 4 years. Now second year if you have to keep aside 131, then we have to pay after 3 years. So how much should we keep aside right now? Because that is again going to be invested at 10%. So now it will be 131 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 3 years. Do it 1 divided by 1.1, this will be after 1 year. Divide by 1.1, this will be after 2 years. And again divide by 1.1, this will be after 3 years. 0.75? 1? 3. 98.42, so 98. Just let me verify in college, they are taking in decimals or exact. No, rounding off to exact. Okay. So, how much do we need to keep aside after in the second year to pay 131 after 3 more years? 98. In second year's P&L account, if you keep aside 98, then do it 98 plus 10%. In the third year, it will become plus 10%. In the fourth year, it will become plus 10%. In the fifth year, it becomes 131. Did you understand this? By taking from profits 98 rupees aside, we will be able to pay 131 up in the fifth year. Any confusions with this? Now what would be the closing obligation? Closing obligation is 262 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 3 years. 262 into 0.7513. 197. You can cross check here. How much do we need to keep aside in the current period for second year? How much do we need to keep aside? 98. And automatically this 197 will come the total also. Do it 89 plus 9 plus 19 plus 98. 197 or 6. That is because of rounding off. Is everyone of you clear with this portion? Any confusion in it? So here also let us take 196. This 196 will become opening of third year. Means in year 3, what will be your opening obligation? 262 into interest factor at the rate of 10% for 3 years. So 262 into 0.7513, 196. Now again, on 196, now total amount you have invested in the 2 years, how much? Total amount you have kept aside in the 2 years, how much? 190. Basically you kept aside 89 in the first year, but on that you also received 10% interest in the second year. So in the second year your amount already became 89 plus 998, and again in the second year you kept aside 98. So at the end of second year, what is the total amount which is being invested? 196. So in the third year, you get interest of 196 into 10%, 19.6. That is approximately 20 rupees. Did you understand this portion, everyone? On the total investments of 196, you get interest of 10%, which is 20. Okay. Now how will we count this again? Tell me. 131, third year again, we have to keep aside 131. But then we don't need to keep aside 131 because we need this after how many more years? 2 more years. So how much do we need to keep aside? Interest factor at the rate of 10% for 2 years. Do it 1 divided by 1.1. This is after 1 year. Again divide by 1.1. This is after 2 years. 0.8? 26. Let us take it in 3 decimals only. What is 131 into 0.826? 108. So if you keep aside 108 in the third year, that will become 131 after 5 years. Cross check. 108 plus 10%. This will be the value in the 4th year and plus one more 10%. Do you get 131 in the 5th year or not?
Yes.
Did you understand this? Now closing obligation. What is the closing obligation at the end of 3 years? 393. So 393 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 2 years means 393 into 0.826. 324. Here we get 324. You already calculated. So in the current period we need to keep aside 108. Now total of these three comes to 324. Did everyone of you understand this? Now 4th year. First of all, in the beginning of 4th year, 393 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 2 years. 393 into 0.826. That is 324. That is the opening liability. Okay. On 324 now, 10% interest, how much we will receive in the 4th year? 32.4 means 32 rupees. Now again, 4th year we have to keep aside 131 which we require to pay after one more year. So do we need to keep aside 131? How much we need to keep aside? 131 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 1 year. Simply 1 divided by 1.1. 0.909. 119. So in the 4th year, if you keep aside 119, it will become 131 in the 5th year. You can cross check. 119 plus 10%. One more year, we need the interest. Do you get 131 or not? Did everyone understand this? So in the 4th year, to have 131 in the 5th year, we need to keep aside 119. Now what will be the closing obligation in the 4th year? 524 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and one more year. So 524 into 0.909. 475. Here what is the total coming to? 47. Okay. And in the last year this will become opening obligation. So 5th year this will become the opening obligation. 524 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 1 year. 524 into 0.909. 475. Now listen carefully. 5th year we need to pay him how much? 131. So in the 5th year you need to keep aside how much? 131 only. Now it is not going to be invested. So here this 131 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and how many years? 0 years. For 0 years the interest factor is always 1 rupee. So it will always remain 0. Means in the last year, okay, 475 is 10%, how much interest we will get? 47.5 means 48. And in the 4th year you need to actually keep aside 131 only. Is everyone clear with this? And what would be the closing obligation? So this also 655 into interest factor at the rate of 10% and 0 years. So 655 into 1, it is going to remain 655. Here it comes to. So did you understand? This is how the obligation for the company will build up. Means what the company has to do? In the first year they have to keep aside 89 rupees and invest it at 10%. In the second year they have to keep aside 98. Listen carefully. This last second amounts they are going to debit to P&L account. In the first year company will debit in P&L account 89. Second year company will debit in P&L account 98. Third year company will debit in P&L account 108. Fourth year 119. Fifth year 130. And this total cost company will show in liability each year. In the first year on liability side company will show. Second year company will show on liability side 196, including interest. Therefore, if you remember when we used to make balance sheet from 11th standard, suppose provident fund was there. What we used to do with interest or PF investment? Add in provident fund, not show it in income statements, because that is a liability you have to give to the employer. So provident fund balance, like gratuity fund balance, would become 89 plus 98 plus in the last year investment you would receive interest of. That also you have to give to the employee when he retires. So this closing amounts will be shown on the liability side, and last second amounts will be debited to profit and loss. Did everyone of you understand this? Now write it down. Try to write it without seeing. Means, first you have to find what is the salary after 5 years. Then, in all the 5 years, what is the obligation of prior period, current period and total. And then you have to find the present values.